How do you draw from your background in therapy when working with people through challenging times?
My background in therapy has helped me focus on three things: what the individual needs, what the situation calls for, and the environment they're working in. So, when I was a therapist, I did addiction and mental health work. And you really are trying to focus on making a lot of impact in short periods of time because, in that specific field of therapy, you don't know how long you're going to be seeing people. It could be for a very, very short amount of time, or it could be a long time. But you really want to create a lot of gains that make a difference to them. So you want to be thinking about doing that quickly. So I came from a perspective of cognitive behavioral therapy. So all of it was really about saying, like, I'm only going to be able to be with this person for a short amount of time. How do we get enough insights and create enough change so that there will be enough momentum to keep going? I bring that into coaching because usually when I'm coaching with someone, it's around 6 months to a year. Now, there's a lot of people I've worked with for many, many years. I think the longest person I've worked with has been uh, 8 years. And that's been a real journey from being like a mid-level manager all the way up to being a CEO. And it has been like incredible, like really, really incredible. But beyond that, I always just assume I'm going to be with someone from 6 months to a year. And so I'm always thinking, okay, got to get a read on the person. How self-reflective are they? Do they have an ability to really push themselves in a healthy way to get to the next space that they're at? Do they take feedback well? Can I be direct? So I'm always thinking about the person. What do they need from me at this time? And how do I make those gains? But the second is I'm always thinking, okay, well, what do they need? Like, what is the situation that's happening right now? Is this someone who has to make a lot of changes because they're shooting for like a really, really big role? Is it someone who has to make a lot of changes because they got some feedback that's like very difficult for them to digest and they have to accommodate to it? Is this someone looking to have long-term career growth, but they need me just for that moment to spark that thing? So you got to think about the situation. And so it's not just what the person needs and what the style is, but what are they shooting for or what's needed from them from the business and how do you accommodate? The final, though, is the environment. I would say most businesses intend to have good work environments. I think there's probably very few businesses that are like, let's have a bad environment or we don't care at all. And I'm sure there are some that say we don't care at all. But most want to have a good environment, but that doesn't always mean the environment is right for everybody at the time. So it's also the person, focusing on the person, the situation, but the environment. And really, how do you help someone achieve something given the environmental pressures? There are environmental pressures all the time. It could be an economic downturn. It could be that a certain industry has a lot of hype on it a lot of, at the time, a lot of excitement. It could be that the organization they're in is struggling with something with themes of racism or sexism. So it's really, really important to look at those three things: the individual, the situation they're in, and the environment. And all of that comes from cognitive behavioral therapy for me to really like look at that situation, make a lot of big gain or a lot of meaningful gains for someone so that they can carry that on into the long term.